What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Let's face it, as someone that pretty much lives and works from their mobile devices, I want to make sure the things I use every day are protected and stylish. I mean, come on, I sell watches, I'm on YouTube, I live in Los Angeles, things are hustling and bustling. I gotta look good. No, I will not shave my beard. But special thanks to Carl Friedrich Leather Goods for sponsoring my channel and making this review possible. They've sent me some really cool office goods like this laptop case, and it's been personalized T3. It's really, really cool. But yeah, guys, Carl Friedrich Leather Goods, they make luggage, they make backpacks, they make things like mouse pads, iPhone cases, which brings me to my next point. They've sent me an iPhone case, a very nice black leather iPhone case that I'm gonna be giving away to one of you guys. So how do you win this Carl Friedrich leather iPhone case? Well, you gotta guess, what's my current favorite anime? That's right. I'm a nerd. But if you can guess which is my favorite anime, and I pretty much bring this up like every live stream, let me know, and you'll be getting this Carl Friedrich leather iPhone case. But yeah, guys, home goods, office goods, things like MacBook cases, tech device cases like your iPhones, again, backpacks, luggage, they've got it all. And it's really nice quality. You can see the stitching, very neat and tidy. Again, I kind of judge this like I would a watch strap, and they do a very, very good job. So guys, Carl Friedrich, again, thank you for sponsoring this channel and making this episode possible. If you, the viewer, want to support the people that support me, go to www.carlfriedrich.com and tell them I sent you. All right, guys, enjoy this review of a movement watch. Yeah, that's right, I bought one. All right, guys, I'm very, very excited because we are about to cut open a package containing the first ever movement watch here in the office. I've never had a movement watch here to share with you guys, so this could be a big step in the right direction or an enormous step in the wrong one, but we won't know until we cut open the package. So guys, for any of you who spend any amount of time at all browsing the internet or social media without being aware of it, you're probably fairly familiar with the movement watch in question, and that's because by all accounts, this seems to be one of Movement Watch's more popular items, okay? I didn't want to cop out and get one of their less desirable items with bad reviews. No, this has a ton of reviews online. It's in a lot of their sponsored content. Again, very, very popular. In fact, when you type in MVMT watches men on Amazon, this is the first item that shows up. 863 reviews, about 95 bucks I spent on this baby. Men's minimalist vintage watch with analog date. Vintage, I don't know about minimalist. Sure, I'll give it to them. But yeah, very popular item by Movement. I have one, so officially I can have an educated opinion. So without further ado, let's cut open the package, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's take a look at the first ever Movement watch here on the Time Teller channel. It's 12:04 p.m. Let's get down to business. Alrighty, here we go. Cutting through that bubble wrap. Ooh, such sleek packaging. MVMT. All right, so according to the comment section, you guys love it when I comment on the packaging when I do these unboxings. And let's face it, some people, you know, the packaging really does matter because it's an indicator of just how much effort a company puts into their products. What I find very, very almost disconcerting is that there seems to be some discoloration. It looks almost like there's moisture that got into the package underneath this kind of plasticky shrink wrap. I don't know if it's just an illusion. I don't know if it's just the plastic itself, but you can see, it looks like there's almost water damage on this product. Now, I don't know if that has to do with, you know, Amazon's fulfillment or what, but it looks kind of gross. But let's go ahead and take off this shrink wrap and see what's in it. Okay, so crisis, I guess, well, I don't know, somewhat averted. There definitely is some type of residue that got into the shrink wrap, but it doesn't look like it penetrated inside of the box. Oh my God, that's gonna get me in trouble with YouTube. But yeah, there's, look at this. It's gross, but hey, whatever. Hopefully the watch is a little less gross. How do I get into this box? All right, guys, moment of truth. got some cards. Ooh, some nice kind of velvety material here. Instruction pamphlet. Let's see what it says in the instructions. Okay, it tells you how to tell the time, and of course all their social media, because let's face it, Movement seems to be more of a marketing agency than an actual watch manufacturer. Here's a very handsome lad looking out on an ocean upon what seems to be some form of aircraft. 2013, we made a promise to create high-quality, minimalist products at a revolutionary price. Thanks to the support of our awesome fans, Movement has become more than just a brand. We would not be here without you! Now, we'd like to do our part by offering the best possible customer service, and here are the two presidents. It's not co-president or vice president, one of these guys, no. It's president and president. Sunglasses, okay. Join the movement. And again, everything about this company has to do with their social media. It's all about social media, and I have a feeling it's much less about the actual products they offer, but we're gonna see about that today. All right, so we've gotten all the marketing stuff out of the way, all the kind of boring packaging out of the way. Let's actually take a look at the watch, for God's sakes. Okay, this is going to wear very large on the wrist. I've kind of, I don't know, at this point I'm kind of able to eyeball it. Let's kind of zoom out a bit. You can see what I see. This is, yeah, I can tell this is going to be a very large watch on the wrist. Okay, so we have not done the official measurements yet on this MVMT watch. We obviously just took it out of the package, but just for reference, to kind of give you some perspective on what I'm seeing, this is my Rolex Explorer 2 16570. This is a 40mm oyster case, and this movement that we just got kind of dwarfs it, okay? I mean, take a look at that. This is going to be a very large watch on the wrist. I have 7.5-inch wrists. This 40mm cased Rolex kind of wears perfectly. It's right within that sweet spot. I have a feeling just the lug to lug on this watch is going to be a bit too big for most people's wrists. But we're gonna see. Let's go ahead and get some official measurements on this MVMT, and yeah, we can see if you know, it's large and in charge, or if it's right within that sweet spot. And just because I know you guys love this, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this on camera. Oh yeah. And I suppose before we measure it, we should at least make sure the dang thing works. We can remove this stopper from the crown, push the crown in. We're gonna push the crown all the way in to make sure it doesn't have indiglow. Indiglow! And it is ticking away. Looks like it missed that index. 1 second. Oh yeah, all right. So it doesn't have minute indexes, but the indexes it does have on the dial, it's missing. Impressive. Okay, let's go ahead and take some measurements. Okie dokie, so as this MVMT quartz vintage minimalist watch, whatever they call it, ticks away, we're gonna go ahead and get some measurements with my trusty caliper tool. Hitting the widest point on the case, excluding the crown, we are at 44.9 millimeters across. Let's get the lug to lug, because that's honestly the most important measurement. 51.6 millimeter lug to lug, guys. That's a big watch on the wrist. That's going to cover your entire wrist, and for a lot of people out there, those lugs might hang over your wrist. Let's check how thick it is or how thin it is. 9.7 millimeters thin. That's, you know, not terrible. Not a terribly thick watch, but it is quartz, so you know. But perhaps one of the most interesting measurements of this watch that I want to look into is this strap. Okay, the strap looks very, very wide. We're going to go ahead and take a measurement here, actually. 24, right on the button. 24 millimeter strap for this kind of minimalist watch. That's an incredibly thick strap. That's like, you know, Panerai territory. So speaking of this strap, it's kind of this suede finish. It feels incredibly stiff. It does not feel like a comfortable strap, but one thing I really do like about it is it comes with quick release. So, oh, it says 24 right there. So if you don't like that strap, boom, you can just take it off. very, very simply. Again, quick release straps, kind of a lifesaver when it comes to watch collecting. You can put it back on very, very simply. So the case back, you know, nothing special, some engravings, movement, classic, has the serial number. It says water resistant, 3 atmospheres, that's 30 meters, just about. Let's go ahead and remove this plastic. It says Japan movement, all stainless steel. Maybe we can take off this case back and try to figure out just what is making this watch tick. So as with every watch that I test and review, let's go ahead and see the crown setting and function. It is around 1:30 p.m. the 12th of May. So what I like to do is, you know, check the crown. Okay, there seems to be 2 very distinct crown settings. That's a very good thing to see. First one should probably be the date. Let's go ahead. All right, so, you know, feels pretty, yep, one-way date change. Pretty standard there. One thing I don't like, and this is, you know, different strokes for different folks. I don't like this date window here. It just feels like an afterthought. It's tiny. The numbers barely fit there. It just looks, again, like an afterthought when you take this whole watch in. I don't know, that might just be me. So let's go ahead and set the time. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it around. So it has switched to the 12th. We'll bring it into the PMs. 1:30, and again, there aren't any minute markers really, so let's see, it's like 1:34 right now, so we'll bring it around here. Okay, so I've said it on my channel before, minimalist design, modern design, Bauhaus, not really my thing. Is this minimalist? Absolutely, they kind of nailed it there. Again, I don't know where they got the vintage name for this watch, because I definitely would not consider it vintage in any way, but if you're into that kind of modern, clean, almost sterile look, yeah, I get it. I see the appeal. Again, just not my cup of tea. Different strokes for different folks. I'm not a huge fan of this date window, as I said. Impressively, the date is centered in that tiny itty bitty date window. I kind of think it looks like an afterthought there. And I understand, I get the appeal of the kind of black colors, matte black dial, gunmetal handset and indexes that kind of play with the light a little bit, and the splash of color coming from the red second hand and MVMT logo. But if you're gonna work with these dark colors, at least have some dang quality control, okay? Look at these big specks of dust here. Try as I might, I'm gonna use the tip of my pen. Yep, not coming off. I scrubbed this with a microfiber. I could not get these dang specks of dust to come off the dial, and it really shows up. Again, when you're using these matte blacks, any imperfection is going to show up. Kind of a bummer here. And as we zoom in here, you can really see these actually large specks of dust just chilling here underneath the crystal. This one here, I think, is actually sitting on the dial, and then this speck here is underneath the crystal, just kind of laying there. And yeah, as we look across, you know, you can see some smudges on the handset. They clearly, you know, did not spend any time really perfecting or polishing up these watches. You can see more dust on each index. Yeah, it's just, you know, not a highly finished watch. So I would say this watch is a bit too sterile for me, but upon further inspection, it's actually kind of filthy. But okay, we've zoomed out. I know I'm kind of harping on this, but again, right here, right here, right here, you can see these imperfections on the dial and on the crystal just as clear as day. And I'm not gonna say this is on every single MVMT watch, but you know, this is the sampling I have right here, and it's just a bummer because around 95 bucks for this very simple quartz watch, and you're getting these kind of ugly imperfections immediately out the box. You can get a Star King automatic hacking hand wind sapphire crystal display case back, beautiful, clean, pristine dial with none of these imperfections for about half the cost of this kind of crappy quartz MVMT. So that right there is already a strike against movement. I mean, there are other watches that I've reviewed here very recently that have kind of broadened my horizon. And yeah, again, you can get very nice automatic watches for half the price of this. And now comes the time we have to cut off the hang tag and put the watch on my wrist. Ugh, the things I do for you people. Okay, it says Japan movement, China strap. So Japanese movement, is this a Miyota? I don't know. Again, I'm gonna try to take off that case back and see if we can figure it out. So we're going to cut this off and put it on the wrist. Okay, golly, this is a big watch, guys. I have a bit above average wrists. I have 7.5-inch wrists, actually a bit bigger than that. And again, the lugs are practically hanging off the sides of my wrist. Okay, a little bit of detailing here. MVMT etched on the buckle. The strap, very, very stiff. But again, with those quick releases, excuse me, you can go ahead and choose a different strap and switch it out with ease. But boy, is this a big watch. And again, the lack of bezel here, it looks all dial. So it looks even larger than it probably is. But that lug to lug, man. Yeah, this looks like a dinner plate on your wrist, guys. A dirty dinner plate. Okay, so now that I'm spending some honest time with this MVMT, it's kind of reminding me of that Wish watch that I reviewed not long ago, the watch that I spent literally $1 on. And yes, I understand that Wish watch was a fake chronograph. It had pushers that you couldn't even push. It had a die-cast case, kind of felt like a Matchbox car. But this isn't all that much better. Okay, you look and there's some tool marks here. These aren't smudges, okay? These are just like nicks in the case, right out the box. You're getting a dirty dial. You're getting a quartz movement that is missing all the indexes that are on the dial. I mean, there aren't very many. Again, it's a minimalist watch. It just isn't feeling great on the wrist or in the hand. This feels just as much a toy as that Wish watch did, but this is almost $100. That Wish watch was $1. And when you factor in that you can get things like that Timex Expedition Field chronograph for, you know, around 40 bucks, you can get the Star King automatic sapphire crystal hacking hand wind for around 50 bucks. This is very hard to justify, this MVMT. So here comes the time we've all been waiting for. I'm going to crack open this case back and we're going to take a look at the movement here, because MVMT movement, let's figure out what's in it. Okay, so it seems like right here there's a bit of a lip. I might be able to fit a tool underneath that. Let's go ahead and try it. All right, guys, are you ready? Are you ready for the MVMT movement? Wow. Huge watch, itty bitty movement. All right, so as we zoom in closer, we can glean a little bit more information about what makes this watch tick. We see no jewels, which, you know, I don't expect any jewels. This seems to be a very basic quartz movement. It is Japanese. And then here's what really gives us some clarification about what this movement is. VJ52B, this is most likely a Hattori Pulsar quartz movement, which is actually a segment of Seiko Epson Corporation. So this is one of Seiko Epson's, outsourced brands. Very, very cheap, very inexpensive, very basic. We can already see some lint inside this watch. That doesn't surprise me because there's some on the dial. And then we have this kind of plastic housing. If you were to want to replace the battery, you would take off this whole plastic ring, put in a new battery, and then obviously replace the ring. But I don't know why you would go through that trouble, because the, expense and hassle of the battery, these batteries are just as disposable as this watch essentially. So yeah, save yourself some money, just throw the watch out and buy a Star King. All right, so undoubtedly, people will claim I did not give movement a fair shake. They will not like how I reviewed this watch, but I'm just trying to call it as I see it, okay? I have a bit more perspective after recently taking a look at some more affordable watches, a lot of watches under the $100 range. And this is still not cutting it, in my opinion. There are automatic watches that you can get that are also fairly clean and minimalist, like that Star King, that you can get for around 50 bucks, which is almost half the cost of this MVMT. You can get watches like the Timex Expedition Field chronograph that have a date complication and a really cool chronograph complication and an independent hour hand that you can jump, and Indiglo. I mean, come on, who can forget about Indiglo? And these watches are all almost half the price of this MVMT. So as silly as it is, you know, whenever I show one of these watches, a watch called Rolex, and with that insignia that everyone hates, and they claim Rolex is all marketing, and oh, I wasted all my money, and why would you ever spend this much money on a watch? It's all marketing, it's all marketing. I could say the same thing about this. You are literally spending around 100 bucks just for MVMT. It's ridiculous. The only difference is that I can potentially sell this Rolex for more than I spent on it, and this is just gonna go into a landfill. So I actually did have a lot of fun making this review. I think my favorite part was figuring out that it probably is a Hattori Pulsar movement. That's very cool. But again, the quality control or lack thereof kind of reinforces my disdain for this company. Again, dust on the dial right out the box, dust inside the movement the second I took the case back off. And then this kind of very stiff strap, I think I put it on and off my wrist twice here on camera, and there's already some hardcore marring on the leather. That's a huge bummer. Lug to lug, enormous, just a very big watch. If you're into this kind of futuristic minimalist design, there are other places to look. It's not my cup of tea, but please, please, please do not spend your $100 on this toy. You can get the same watch on Wish for $1, and I reviewed that. It's essentially going to be the same quality. You're going to get the same feel, and you're going to be throwing away a lot less money. So yeah, if anything, I learned a bit from this review, but it also just kind of reinforced what I believed the whole time. And I know it's going to upset some people, but yeah, guys, don't buy movement. Look elsewhere. So is it true that with some high-end watch manufacturers like Rolex, you pay for the name on the dial, you pay for that brand equity? Absolutely. I'm the first one to admit that. But we have to keep our arguments congruent across the board. When we look at this movement, you're not paying for generations of watchmaking prowess. You're not paying for that expectation of precision and quality. You're not paying for something that you can potentially break even on or get out of or pass it down. You're only paying for marketing. So yes, this movement is much less expensive than this Rolex, but with some of these, you get hit harder than others, okay? With this Rolex, I stand to break even, I can pass it down, I can even make money on it. This MVMT, it's not the same. So yes, with Rolex, you pay for marketing. With MVMT, you only pay for marketing. Garbage. So guys, thank you so much for checking out this review. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned not to put your money in these disposable products. Again, just a huge bummer. But yeah, if you learned something and if you enjoyed this review, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the content we put out here. Put out 4 pieces of content a week, 5 if you're a channel member. So special thanks to my channel members, and special thanks to our sponsor, Carl Frederick, for making this review happen. We can't pick up these products and do these reviews without channel support. So again, check them out, Carl Frederick, and let them know that the Time Teller channel sent you. If you're looking for some watches that aren't utterly disposable like this MVMT, then I have a bunch of playlists. Check out my top watch picks. You can see a bunch of watches for the under $100 price range, under $500 price range, under $1,000 price range, and even a bunch more expensive watches like the one I'm wearing right now. So if any of that is interesting to you, check out those playlists and have a good time. Guys, I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.